Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Peter Murphy begins now.
Good evening, everyone. A review into the size of our state's parliament is now recommending we pay for an extra 10 politicians to sit in the lower house. Backers of the report say it may not be a popular move, but it's needed to provide more oversight of the government and improve our public services.
Wearing one of his many hats.
It's wonderful to be here as Minister for Education.
Jeremy Rockcliffe on the ground at a school today. But like many of his ministerial colleagues, it's just one part of his busy schedule. He's also Deputy Premier, Minister for Mental Health and Wellbeing, Disability Services and Community Development, Trade and Advanced Manufacturing and Defence Industries.
It's a busy workload, but one that I embrace, and yes, I have numerous responsibilities.
Lightening up the load for parliamentarians has been raised in a new report, an inquiry recommending the number of lower house politicians to increase by 10, up to 35.
In the interests of Tasmania's democracy, representation of the diversity of interests in our community, and to make sure we've got good governance going forward and ministers that have sustainable workloads.
We know that the workload of politicians is extreme. We know that politicians aren't able to do their ministerial roles properly. And what happens by that is department heads have way too much power in the discourse behind the scenes.
Finding the extra politicians, including one more minister, is estimated to cost around $6 million a year, according to Treasury. Members from all parties recommending the change.
It's having the political courage to stand up to what is said as, oh, we don't need more politicians. That's the last thing we need. Oh, they cost too much and they don't do any work. That is absolute rubbish.
But despite support from within Liberal ranks, the government was quick to rule out the plan.
It's not a priority for our government, given the circumstances around health and education and those key priority areas that Tasmanians would expect us to invest in.
The inquiry also called for Parliament to work out a model for dedicated Aboriginal seats. It's now hoping to debate the plan later this year. Michelle Wisby, 7 Tasmania News.
A 7-year-old boy has died from injuries sustained in a boating accident on the east coast over the weekend. He was riding a sea biscuit on the Prosser River at Orford on Sunday when police say the boat towing him lost control, sending him onto rocks. Authorities have identified the child as Archie James Green from Hobart's eastern shore. Police say they're continuing to investigate the incident and a report is being prepared for the coroner. Emergency crews have been called to a fire breakout at Risdon Prison. Firefighters were called to the facility at around 2:30 this afternoon. The incident is believed to have been triggered by a mattress catching alight, although the cause hasn't been released. Ambulance crews were also on the scene, but authorities say there were no injuries. A 66-year-old German man has appeared in court charged over a fatal crash in the Huon Valley last month. Friedrich Kurt Burkhardt pleaded not guilty to one count of causing the death of another person by negligent driving. A 59-year-old man from the Huon Valley was killed in the crash at Dover. The matter has been adjourned until March. New police statistics have revealed an increase in the total number of offences. More than 14,000 offences were recorded in the year to December 2019, compared with roughly 13,500 at the same point the year before. There was a small rise in the number of drug offenders, but a slight decrease in serious crimes. Wildlife advocates are calling for Tasmania's upcoming duck hunting season to be scrapped. BirdLife Tasmania says the drought interstate is seeing special species flock here, but sporting shooters say that's not the case.
Hunters are preparing to hit the wetlands with the opening of the duck season next weekend.
It's not all year, so it's quite a short period of time where people can pursue the ducks and hunt them.
But wildlife experts say this year that season should be scrapped.
So many birds have come from the mainland of Australia to Tasmania to try and survive the drought. Shooting the birds while they're here, while they're trying to survive a drought, just doesn't make sense.
BirdLife Tasmania says certain species, such as hardheads and pink ears, are not traditionally found in the state, migrating here to find refuge. They're not permitted for hunting.
They're coming to Tasmania because we're a little bit wetter, a little bit more reliable for water than the mainland.
If the species was at risk, I'm sure that the department would not have had a duck season this year. But if they do follow their due diligence, so if they have a season, it's for reasons.
The Sporting Shooters Association says its members haven't seen a significant increase in different breeds in recent months.
There's always a call in regards to duck season. I understand that it's about the drought on the mainland. That drought has broken.
There's been continuous improvement over the years. It's a legitimate recreational pursuit that has been for generations of Tasmanians.
Ebony Ablett, 7 Tasmania News.
Hobart City Council is affirming its support to changing the date of Australia Day. It's one of over 60 actions included in a new Aboriginal commitment and action plan launched today. A cultural map of significant sites will be developed, while Council will also investigate implementing dual names.
Requires engaging with our broader community, the community of Hobart, but also other levels of government. But we've committed as part of this action plan to do a lot more work in this space.
Council will also consider updating the Franklin Square statue of former Premier William Crowther to include details that he mutilated the corpse of an Aboriginal man. More than $700,000 worth of funding has been awarded for research into medical conditions affecting Tasmanians. Money has been raised by the Royal Hobart Hospital Research Foundation, with grants going towards 15 separate projects.
There are several success stories from across the years where we've focused on conditions that are relevant here, but the rollout effects right across the nation and the world have been quite profound.
Some of the projects supported by this year's funding include research into cardiovascular disease and dementia. Hobart businesses have banded together to clean up one of the city's most polluted waterways. Volunteers work for hours to remove hundreds of kilograms of rubbish from Prince of Wales Bay, which is regularly filled with household and industrial waste.
Rolling up their sleeves, volunteers sifting through reeds, water and mud. Prince of Wales Bay is in constant need of cleaning up, as tons of rubbish flow into the area each year through Hobart's stormwater network, creating a toxic area unsafe for water activities.
The shape and the nature of the bay means that the litter that does come down the stormwater system doesn't tend to sort of flow out. It's a very narrow entrance, and the prevailing winds tend to blow it into one corner.
Volunteers from businesses with ties to the waterway taking advantage of a low tide to freshen up the system, removing everything from household materials right through to industrial items.
The things that we use on a day-to-day basis and don't think about when we throw them away, and sometimes they end up in our stormwater system.
We've been long-term partners with the Derwent Estuary program, so it's important for all of us to, get in and have a go.
Many volunteers are from the nearby Nearstar zinc smelter, historically a major contributor to pollution in the river. The plant's general manager says those involved care deeply about the health of the bay.
Most of the guys are volunteered. We don't actually do a lot of spruiking of the day. They know that it happens.
Organisers were expecting up to 300 kilograms of rubbish to be collected, encouraging residents to do their own mini collection each day.
We can go down every day and help pick up the rubbish that we see when we're going for a walk with our dog, being with our children in the park.
John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
A proposed 68-unit development in Hobart CBD has moved a step closer to reality. Hobart City Council unanimously approving the 9-storey building on the corner of Murray and Patrick Streets at a meeting last night. The RACT driver training site would be demolished to make way for the complex.
We're really keen to give the green light to anything that fits within our planning rulebook, and this certainly does that.
It will contain a mixture of 2, 3 and 4-bedroom apartments, along with retail and commercial spaces.
Tasmania is under pressure on the second day of its Sheffield Shield clash against Western Australia. Quick Sam Rainbird finished with 5 wickets to end the visitors' first innings, but in reply, promising batting partnerships were halted as wickets fell late in the afternoon.
Day 2's first breakthrough took just 10 balls.
Harris hit on the pad again. There's a confident appeal. He's given out.
The next wicket took the bowlers another 15 overs. Fuelled by Centurion Cameron Green, the Warriors added an extra 86 runs to their overnight total before Sam Rainbird cleaned up the tail to chalk up the second 5-wicket haul of his career.
There's a shout and he's given 5 wickets for Sam Rainbird.
Green finishing unbeaten on 158. Young fans hoping for top-order resistance were dealt an early blow. Jordan Silk gone for 11. In his 100th first-class game for Tasmania, Alex Doolan looked to dig in.
He looks pretty comfortable out there, Alex Doolan.
The very next ball, the commentator's curse claimed another victim.
Edge, and it's gone. Caught at second slip, thick edge.
But young guns Jake Doran and Charlie Wakeham set about the rebuild.
Oh, good shot by Wakeham.
The partnership passing 50 as Wakeham followed with his own personal milestone before the Warriors struck with successive wickets in 3 overs. Despite a classy cameo from Tim Payne, his dismissal in the final hour before stumps compounded the Tigers' woes.
That one's high, it's going to be caught at mid-wicket. Payne's gone.
With a lead of more than 150, momentum sits firmly with the visitors heading into day 3. Garth Burley, 7 Tasmania News.
Toorak Affair remains the favourite going into tomorrow's Launceston Cup. The 6-year-old mare has drawn barrier 2 for the race and is paying $2.70 for the win. Takamochi is paying $5 for the win. Shady Hustle, $9.50.
We've got 2 Group 3s on the day. It's a Vamos, Armadale Stud Vamos as well, so and another listed race. So it's a very good racing, a 10 race card.
Organisers are confident attendance will be roughly the same as last year. Gates open at 10 with the Cup race at 5:15. A Tasmanian queuist has a life-changing opportunity after being invited to join the prestigious World Snooker Tour. It might sound like a dream come true, but Penguin's Cale Barrett says the reality could be different. After honing his snooker skills at his parents' pub growing up, Cale Barrett is now within reach of the sport's highest echelon, the World Snooker Tour.
I'll be on the professional circuit. So yeah, it's an opportunity of a lifetime.
Barrett has been offered a 2-year card on the tour after winning the Oceania title on Sunday. If he accepts, the 23-year-old will move to London and take on a full-time training schedule. It sounds glamorous, but the reality can be far different, with only the top half of players enjoying a good income.
After that, it really is hard to get by. So yeah, the money is top heavy. It's very good at the top, but it's very hard at the bottom.
The advice from former players is to stay resilient when faced with the sharp rise in talent.
Even if you are getting beat, you need to pick yourself up, and that mental game of snooker is really important now.
There will be a few sleepless nights for the recent teaching graduate as he weighs up which way to go.
2 days ago I was just playing and next minute I've got a tour spot, so it's overwhelming, and yeah, it's something I've always dreamed of.
He has 10 days to accept the offer.
Good evening. There were showers across parts of the north this morning with a few thunderstorms about Flinders Island. Hobart a high of 31 today, 23 at Burnie, Launceston reaching 26, Devonport 22. Campania was the state's top today at 32, 28 across Flinders Island, Friendly Beaches and Ooze, Lyowini 21 and 20 at Strawn. On the close-up, cloud about the north while mid to high level cloud developed about other parts of the state through the afternoon. Further out, mid to low level cloud covers most of New South Wales and southern Queensland, with cloud and thunderstorms covering the southwest WA. Tomorrow shows a cold front crossing Tasmania in the morning, followed by west to southwesterly winds, while the trough extends over New South Wales and northern South Australia. West to northwesterly winds tomorrow 15 to 25 knots, swells up to 4 metres in the west and south and up to 1.5 metres in the north. A strong wind warning is current for all coastal waters, the southeast inshore waters and for the central plateau lakes. Tomorrow's forecast now, showers expected across Hobart and Geeveston, Bothwell 14 with showers clearing. In the north, showers clearing and 19 for the Launceston Cup, Devonport and Cressy 18. Burnie tomorrow 18, showers about Strawn 17 at Curry. Showers clearing across St Helens and Orford, Swansea a high of 19. The UV forecast high 6s and 7s across the state. Looking ahead to the 3-day forecast, Thursday showers about the west extending to the north in the morning. Friday showers about the west and far south, mostly fine elsewhere. And Saturday showers about the west and far south with westerly winds, fine elsewhere. Capital cities, possible showers expected in Brisbane tomorrow. Melbourne a high of 19 and 33 in Darwin. And currently Hobart 21 and sunny, Launceston 22 and Devonport 20 and sunny. That's all in weather tonight, Murph.
That's all your news for now. I'll be back later with updates. Thanks for joining us this evening. Good night.